Chapter 16. Sources of Water. We will learn sources of water, extraction of salt from seawater, forms of water, seasonal change in water flow. Knowledge window. About 97% of water is salty seawater and 2% is frozen in glaciers and polar caps. Water is one of the most essential elements for living beings. All living beings need water to stay alive. Water covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface, but only 1% of it is fit for use. Sources of water. We get water from the following sources. Rainfall. Most areas of the earth receive rainfall. Water falls down in drops. It can be collected and used. While coming down, dust and smoke particles mix with it, so it does not remain fit for drinking. But it can be used for other purposes like watering plants, bathing animals, etc. Farmers depend on rain to irrigate their fields. River. River is a channel of water in which water keeps flowing throughout the year. It originates from glaciers or springs in the mountains. They also originate from the highlands, which get plenty of rainfall. When it flows through plains, its water get polluted. Some of India's biggest rivers like the Ganga, the Yamuna, and the Brahmaputra originate in the Himalayas. These rivers get water from the melting of snow in the mountains. Thus, they carry water throughout the year. These rivers are called snow-fed rivers. Some rivers depend on rainfall for water. These are called rain-fed rivers. These rivers carry water only during rainy seasons. They dry up during summer season. The Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, and Mahanadi are rain-fed rivers. Knowledge window. Water is made up of two elements, hydrogen and oxygen. Its chemical formula is H2O. Lake. Lake is a big depression in ground that is filled with water. This water remains stagnant and many organisms grow in it. They are typically larger and deeper than ponds. Pond. An area of water smaller than a lake is called a pond. It may be natural or man-made. Usually, in most ponds the sunlight reaches to bottom, but they don't last all year round. Some ponds dry up during the summer season. Underground water. It is the most important source of water. It is like a large reserve of water below the surface. Rainfall is the main source of this water. Much of the rain that falls seeps into the ground. Here it collects as underground water. While going down, it filters through various layers of sand and gravel, which make it clean. Thus, this water is clean. Wells, hand pumps, and tube wells are used to take out underground water. At some places, underground water comes out to the surface in the form of springs. These are common in hilly areas. Ocean and sea. An ocean is the largest body of water. There are 5 oceans in the world. They are Pacific, Atlantic, Indian, Arctic, and Southern. A sea is also a large water body, but it is smaller than the ocean. There are many seas in the world. Ocean and sea water is salty because of the presence of too much salt in it. Therefore, it cannot be used for drinking or other purposes. Extraction of salt from seawater. In Gujarat and Mumbai, large areas of the seashore have been cut off from the sea by constructing dikes. These areas are called salt pans. The dikes prevent the water from flowing back to the sea. After some days, the water in the salt pans is evaporated and a layer of salt is left behind. This salt is collected and taken to the factories for refining. Forms of water. There are 3 forms of water: solid, liquid, and gas. We use water mainly in the liquid form for drinking, washing, cooking, watering plants, etc. Water on cooling freezes into its solid form and becomes ice. We make use of ice in cold drinks. The last form of water is gas. It is not visible to us. When water is heated, it evaporates and changes into gas and is called water vapor. Evaporation. The process by which water changes into water vapor is called evaporation. For example, when we put out clothes in the sun, they dry up after some time. This is because the heat from the sun changes the water of the wet clothes into water vapor. Condensation. The process by which water vapor changes back to water due to cooling is called condensation. Take a glass and fill it with cold water. Put some ice cubes in it. After a few minutes, you will see tiny droplets of water on the outer surface of the glass. When moist air comes in contact with the cool surface of the glass, it cooled and changed into water droplets that you see on the outer surface of the glass. It can also be seen in the early morning, when tiny drops are formed on the grass. It is because the earth loses its heat in the night. It becomes cold in the early morning. The water vapor of the air that lies just above the ground condense to form tiny drops. These tiny drops are called dew. Seasonal change in water flow. When seasons change, the amount of heat also changes. In summers, there is lot of heat, but during winter the amount of heat is lesser. So the summers are hot and winters are cold. The quantity of water in a river changes with the change in the season. During the summer season, the flow of water increases, and during winter, it decreases. Quick review. Water is one of the most essential elements for living beings. Water covers more than 70% of the Earth's surface, but only 1% of it is fit for use. The different sources of water are rain, underground water, rivers, lakes, ponds, seas, and oceans. The rivers get water from the melting of snow in the mountains. Rivers originated in mountains flow through plains and join the sea. There are 3 forms of water: solid, liquid, and gas. The process by which water changes into water vapor is called evaporation. The process by which water vapor changes back to water due to cooling is called condensation.